And we are back now with Heather Foster of Foster Financial. Heather is here today to talk to us about some tips and tricks inside employer plans. It's nice to always have you here, Heather.
I love being here and I love educating people. You know that's my favorite thing to do.
Oh my gosh, we're always learning when you come to talk to us. Today we're talking about things that we should be aware of, right?
Yes, because everyone, okay, let's say you lose a job. No one wants to lose a job, but let's say that they do. Or you even move employer plans, or you want to move to a new employer. Most people think, well, I've got this money in my old employer plan, I should just roll it over. And most financial advisors will be like, sure, we'll take your money, we'll make it an IRA. The thing is if you're not quite 59 and a half yet, you may want to double think that before you do that. There's an opportunity. One, if you roll your old employer plan money into your new employer plan, you still have the ability to potentially take loans from it, take hardship withdrawals. But if you've rolled it to an IRA, you can no longer do hardship withdrawals, you can no longer do loans. So that's one thing about rolling it. So maybe reconsider rolling it. The other thing is if you're at the age of 55, when you separate from service, but not quite 59 and a half, there's something called the rule of 55, which allows you to tap into your old employer plan and get to money without the 10% penalty. So don't just blindly go and roll your employer plan money without talking to somebody who not only understands investments, because again, a lot of investment people will even say, hey, yes, sure, take it, we'll roll it to an IRA, we'll manage it for you, but they don't realize the rules that are associated with some of these plans and the ability for people to get to them prior to the age of 59 and a half without that penalty. So that's number one. Number two, things like NUAs. So NUAs, net realized appreciated assets. Basically, if you have employer stock within your employer plan, there's a little tax code that allows you to actually take the basis of what you paid for the stock, roll that out, pay taxes on that, but then roll all the gain or the capital gain into a brokerage account. And so you can pay a lot less in taxes by doing that than rolling it again to an IRA. So if you've got stocks inside of your employer plan, again, don't just blindly do a rollover with somebody over the phone, because you may miss the opportunity to get that stock out at a lot lower tax rate, or even federally tax-free if you're in a low tax bracket. The other thing to look for is, does your plan allow contributions into an after-tax bucket? So everyone knows we can put so much into an employer plan, typically into a pre-tax or a Roth account. And the IRS gives us limitations for that, whether you're under 50 or over 50. Those numbers are a little bit different. But there's also something basically where employer plans, and some, not all, have this ability to over-contribute. So you can put more than the IRS limits for the 401k as a baseline, and goes into what we call an after-tax bucket. So it's not actually like the normal tax code. It goes into this after-tax bucket, and then there's an opportunity to roll that to a Roth when you separate from service. We call these mega backdoor Roth strategies. Again, not all employer plans have them, but some of them do. The other thing to look for is, does your employer plan now offer something called a self-directed brokerage account? These have become very popular, where instead of you just having the ability to invest into maybe 15 different mutual funds, a set of target funds, and then some, very broad index funds, you can actually move your base of your money into a brokerage account. It stays within the employer plan, but you can actually have now a professional manage it, and you can actually invest into anything that's in the stock market, not just the mutual fund selection that the employer has chosen, but also the plethora of every stock that's out there. So if you like tech stocks and you want to own Apple or Microsoft, or if you want to be really strategic and do sector investing where you're in specific sectors, you can actually do that within an existing 401k. So the things to look for: one, don't just blindly ever do a rollover. Never blindly do a rollover unless you're working with a financial professional who also understands tax code. Look for self-directed brokerage accounts. Look for an NUA opportunity if you have employer stock inside of your employer plan, and then the mega backdoor Roth conversions as well.
All of these great tips right there. I told Heather, every time she comes on the show, we just learn something new, and we always appreciate it.
We're here to help.
That's right. And you guys take a look at your screen right now. You can be able to learn more about Foster Financial. Get in for that complimentary consultation. Be sure to reach out. We'll be right back.